Bringing Charles Barkley, NBA on TNT. Why is Jeremy Lin standing out?
Well, he's playing great. I mean, the guy's, if you check the numbers, he has more points in his first 4 starts than any player has ever played since the NBA-ABA merger. I mean, he's just putting up great numbers. He's playing fantastic.
But in this offense with D'Antoni, if you do have a good point guard, a point guard can put up numbers in this offense, right?
Sure, no question. I mean, look at Steve Nash. He won 2 MVPs in this offense. It's a great offense for a point guard. But, this stuff don't mean anything right now until Carmelo and Amari come back, how they're going to fit into the system. I mean, that's the whole key is going to be those 2 guys, how they buy into the system. And, they're both ball stoppers, one-on-one type players. It's interesting. I scouted that game Friday night, and guys, that Shumpert kid's a gunner. He even passed the ball like 3 or 4 times. I was actually in shock. I mean, they got everybody on that team. The ball is just flowing. I mean, he made Tyson Chandler like 4 or 5 great plays. He made Jared Jeffries 4 or 5 great plays. That ball is moving. I mean, it's beautiful to watch. But when Amari and Carmelo come back, it's going to be very interesting how they fit in.
Yeah, it's going to be Carmelo. Amari's played in that system, played for D'Antoni, played with Steve Nash. He could benefit with the pick and roll. Carmelo is going to be the big X factor here.
Sure, and the notion that these guys, they've been out a week and they're going to change out his game all of a sudden, that's just silly. I mean, he's played a certain way his entire career. I mean, he's not going to change. He's been out almost a week. He ain't going to change in a week.
And I thought that the way they were playing, Mike D'Antoni was going to lose his job.
Well, he was going to, because, nowadays, nobody has any patience. The interesting thing, I don't understand why it took them so long to bring in a legitimate point guard. Not even if it wasn't Jeremy Lin. They start the season with Tony Douglas, who's really a 2. Then they went to Iman Shumpert, who's really a 2. So they were going to play better once they got a point guard. I didn't necessarily think Baron Davis was the answer because he's my age. But they finally – it is. Think about it. His system is point guard friendly.
I agree.
They got two very good players in Carmelo and Amari, and they're still winning without those guys. Because if you just move and you can – that kid's a good shooter also. You're going to be successful.
But here's the thing that if I'm D'Antoni, did he not want to bring in Carmelo? Because if your offense is predicated on having a good point guard, why didn't they place a stronger emphasis on getting a point guard here?
Well, listen, I think a lot of these guys in the NBA don't, a lot of these guys watch ESPN, and guys put up numbers. They don't understand why. Guys are putting up numbers. Just because you shoot a lot and get numbers don't mean you're going to fit into any system. That means just a really good scorer, and that's it. I didn't like that trade from the beginning.
Yeah.
But they gave up too much to get Carmelo. Tell you what'd be scary if the Knicks had a legitimate point guard like they do now, and they got all them players they traded. Now that team would be scary. Because they gave up tons and tons of, wing players. Guys think about it. You go back to Mike D'Antoni's system in Phoenix. He had Sean Marion, Joe Johnson, those guys. I mean, he was trading Wilson Chandler, Gallinari, and those guys. They'd be scary in this system with Jeremy Lin right now.
I agree, because then you have some depth on the bench, and they don't even have that. We're talking to Charles Barkley, NBA on TNT, joining us on the show. I think passing is contagious. It
is contagious. Like I told you, and I sit there. I want to be alone Friday night and watch this kid play without being distracted. I told you, he had everybody passing that ball. It was beautiful to watch. I told you, that Shumpert kid, he's a gunner. He actually passed the ball. I mean, he actually passed the ball, and he never passes the ball. It is very contagious. And it's going to be up to Carmelo and Amari to make it even more contagious, or are they going to be concerned with getting their numbers? It's going to be very interesting. Think about it. These guys have won 5 games in a row against, without 2 of their better players. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I hope it sends a message to those guys. I'm also thinking, if I said I'll give you a crystal ball, you can have the future Ricky Rubio or Jeremy Lin. And you're a GM. Who do you want?
Well, that's a good question. I think the jury's out on both of them right now. Ricky Rubio can't shoot. He's a very good passer, but he can't shoot. And I'm not going to go crazy over a guy after 5 games. I mean, because NBA is going to
But you
adjust.
had to make a decision today.
If I had to make a decision right now, wow, that's a great question, Dan. I'm not used to great questions from you. Wow. I don't even. You know what, Dan? I think I don't want to answer that question because I haven't seen enough on either one of them. I mean, Ricky Rubio can't shoot a lick, and like I say, I can't go crazy over a guy in 5 games. So I'm gonna be patient. So stop asking me that again. How's your little knee anyway? Your little boo boo?
No, I play. You know, I'm here.
What that mean?
I'm at work.
First of all, you a broadcaster. It's not work. It's like stealing. We get paid to watch sports. Don't act like it's a job.
I would go for a loose ball right now.
First of all, no team is that bad where you're going to get in the game, just for the record.
Oh, no, come on.
Come on.
The worst team in the NBA is who?
I think it's a toss-up between the Wizards and the Bobcats.
I couldn't get 3 minutes a run on either one of those teams.
No. You know, all NBA players can play. All NBA players can play. But so don't get overboard.
All right, when we come back, I'm going to ask you. Lakers showed a little life recently. Dwight Howard may be playing himself back into Orlando. It looks like we'll talk to Charles about that. Also, I want to get your thoughts on Peyton Manning. And did you watch Tiger and Phil yesterday? We'll continue with Charles Barkley. We'll do so next. This is the Dan Patrick Show. Charles Barkley, kind enough to stay with us, NBA on TNT analyst. We'll talk to Chris Paul coming up in a half hour from now. Best and worst of the weekend. More of your phone calls coming up. Rapid fire here, Charles. What did you make of the rumored Rajon Rondo to the Lakers trade?
Tell you what, that would make the Lakers very interesting. And to be honest with you, because that would solve their point guard play right away. That would make them very dangerous in the West if they got Rondo, because he is terrific.
I think it'd be crazy for them to trade him.
Why?
Well, I mean, that's part of your future. What are you getting? Pau Gasol back? I don't. The Celtics?
I said it was a good trade for the Lakers.
Okay, I agree. What about Dwight Howard with where we stand? Could they actually play well enough where he doesn't want to leave?
Well, I think they can't take their chance. They got to make a decision. I like the way the owner came out last week. This is what I would do if I were the Orlando Magic. If I'm Otis and the owner, I go to Dwight. I say, Dwight, you're a great kid. You're a great player. We can't take the chance of letting you become a free agent. We just can't take that chance because you'd be totally back at ground zero if you let him go. I mean, you won't have nothing. So you got to make a decision before March the 17th. I mean, one way or the other. And you try to handle it, hey, Dwight, if you're not going to stay here, just tell us. It won't be any hard feelings, but we can't have a LeBron James situation where we let you go for nothing. I mean, because think about it. If they lose Dwight Howard, I mean, that team, they'd be really in trouble.
Do you think they trade him?
Well, I think, like I say, I think you have to ask him, is he going to stay?
Well, what would you do?
Well, listen, if he's not going to sign an extension and he tells me he's not going to stay, I got to trade him. I got to start my rebuilding process. I do. I got to start my rebuilding process.
Yeah, I think they trade him. I think he's outgrown the market. He wants to be something more than a basketball player.
Well, first of all, what is he? I hate when you guys say that. You guys, maybe these little wussies from the NBA today, they don't all have to play in the big city.
I agree. Durant's, classic example. I said Dwight Howard, in my opinion, and I said this last year, he's outgrown Orlando.
He has not outgrown Orlando. Would you please stop that?
In his mind.
Listen,
in his
mind. Listen, Dwight Howard, I'm hoping he stays in Orlando. These guys are killing the NBA, all want to play in major markets.
Okay, but in his mind, I think he sees what else is happening and doesn't want to be the last guy there to turn out the lights. That's why I think he views himself as, I need to go to Los Angeles or New York. Whether you like it or not, that's just my thought on it, Charles.
Yeah, I understand.
I hope he stays in Orlando.
Unfortunately, that's the way it is. To be driving me crazy.
Did you watch Tiger and Phil yesterday?
I did.
What'd you think?
Phil was magnificent. Phil was magnificent. That was just a great round of golf.
Have you played it? We played at Pebble a couple years ago. Remember with Rick Majerus?
I beat you. Didn't I beat you?
No, you did not.
Okay, you're right.
No, you did not. You beat me one time. I will admit that in Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah, I did.
And that still haunts me, but that'll never happen again. We know that. But you did beat me. That was before you had your whatever you have.
I developed my speech impediment.
Your swing impediment.
Thanks for reminding me, Dan. Thanks for the support.
What do you do if you're the Colts with Peyton Manning? You got an opinion on all sports?
Well, if I'm number one, I hope personally Peyton Manning retires. I just don't think you can take a chance with your neck, to be honest with you. I just don't think you can take that chance. But if I'm the Colts, I got to let him go. Because I can't pay two quarterbacks. This is business. It's nothing personal. I mean, Peyton's great, but this is business. I can't, just because he's Peyton Manning, I got to start my rebuilding process at some point. And listen, we all get paid very well to play sports. They don't owe us anything. This is a business.
You bet on the Patriots, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I knew it. I've said this before. Why don't you just give me the money every time you think you're going to bet? Just give me the money.
Dan,
I'll hold on to it.
You know what the joke was in Vegas this year? I had won like the last 10 Super Bowls. That's the first time. No, I'm sorry.
No.
I've only lost 2 out of the last 10 Super Bowls.
And those are the last 2.
It was. Those are the last 2. I won, seriously. I had won like 8 out of 10, and the only 2 I lost was this one and the one when the Giants stopped me from going undefeated. That's okay. Hey, listen.
Keep your head up.
Oh, dude, I don't ever worry.
How much weight have you lost?
57 pounds.
Looking good.
Think it's coming. Dan, you know what I noticed?
What?
I was standing in the mirror the other day. I don't have a six-pack, but I saw one little thing pop through at the top. It's not a six-pack yet. I got to lose a few more pounds, but there's like a little light of hope right here at the top below my chest.
Yeah, I think it's called something else, but if you want to call it a one-pack. Hey, good to visit with you as always.
All right, boy. Hey, welcome back.
Thank you, Charles.
All right, be safe.
Charles Barkley, big viewer of the program. 57 pounds there for Charles. Looks good.
A lot of weight.
Well, you can hear it in his voice, too. He sounds healthier.